Our top story this morning, U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken testified in front of the Congress for the second day. This time, he fielded questions on the last airstrike conducted by the United States and whether the strike had killed an aid worker rather than an Islamic State militant. Now, Blinken only maintained that the government was reviewing the strike and that he did not know whether the strike had killed innocent civilians.
The guy the Biden administration droned, was he an aid worker or an ISIS-K operative?
The administration is, of course, reviewing that strike, and I'm sure that a full assessment will be forthcoming.
So you don't know if it was an aid worker or an ISIS-K operative?
I can't speak to that, and I can't speak to that in this setting in any event.
So you don't know or won't tell us?
I don't know because we're reviewing it.
The strike under question is the last known attack by U.S. before troops evacuated completely from Afghanistan. Now, the drone struck a car in Kabul, which the Pentagon claims foiled a plot by the Islamic State extremists for a new attack on the Kabul airport. In the 2 weeks since the attack, investigations by the media have now revealed two vastly different narratives and raised further questions. Did the U.S. kill an ISIS-K militant or an aid worker who was applying for a U.S. visa? More than 10 other family members of Esmarai Ahmadi were killed in the attack, including 7 children, all below the age of 15. The Pentagon says that it is assessing the civilian casualties from the strike, but continues to insist that it disrupted an Islamic State plot. Now, Blinken was also extensively questioned by the Republicans about whether someone at the White House has the ability to cut off the president's microphone to prevent him from going off script. Blinken replied to the allegation, saying that there was no such mute button and that the president can speak for himself. Listen to the exchange.
Somebody in the White House has authority to press the button and stop the president, cut off the president's speaking ability and sound. Who is that person?
I think anyone who knows the president, including members of this committee, knows that he speaks very clearly and very deliberately for himself. No one else does.
Well, are you saying that there is no one in the White House that can cut him off? Because yesterday that happened, and it's happened a number of times before that. It's been widely reported that somebody has the ability to push the button and cut off his sound and stop him from speaking. Who is that person?
There is no such person. Again, the president speaks for himself, makes all of the strategic decisions, informed by the best advice that he can get from the people around him.
Meanwhile, senators from the president's own Democratic Party took the administration to task over its withdrawal, calling it fatally flawed. Senators across party lines have demanded a detailed explanation about the government's decision on Afghanistan since it came into office back in January. And our correspondent Kate Fisher gets us an analysis from Washington, D.C. Let's listen in.
We have a lot to discuss.
This was Secretary of State Antony Blinken's second appearance this week on Capitol Hill as he tries to defend the Biden administration's handling of the withdrawal from Afghanistan. And once again, he argued that President Biden was left with little choice given the deal that had been signed with the Taliban under his predecessor, Donald Trump, and he defended the administration's actions. We did learn a few other things from him as well. He said that the State Department is still tabulating the number of special immigrant visa applicants who need to leave Afghanistan, and he said that there were still thousands of American green card holders who remained in the country. He also talked about that US military equipment that remains in Afghanistan, some $80 billion worth, but he said that much of it is inoperable and that none of it poses a strategic threat to the US or to Afghanistan's neighbours. There was an interesting moment where Senator Bob Menendez, who is the top Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, said that he thought the whole evacuation had been fatally flawed. That's quite a criticism coming from Joe Biden's own party. And he also said that he would be prepared to subpoena Lloyd Austin, the Defense Secretary, if he wasn't prepared to come and give evidence to this committee. So just like during his House appearance on Monday, Secretary of State Blinken facing very tough criticism, and in this hearing, it wasn't just from the Republicans, but one of his own party as well. So another tough day for the Secretary of State on Capitol Hill, but he continues to say that the Biden administration has done the right thing.
WION is now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.